Hello and welcome to eCommerce Matters, brought to you by BlackCurve. We help e-commerce businesses make pricing decisions. We're currently on holiday at the moment, and therefore for today's podcast, we're going into the archives where we look at how to use competitor pricing to be the best big commerce store. We hope you enjoy.
We're all excited to welcome Deepak Anand. Did I say that correctly, Deepak?
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. Fantastic. That's awesome. So Deepak is Senior Director and Strategic Commercial Partnerships at BigCommerce. And also he's joined for today's fireside chat by Philip Huthwaite, who is the founder and CEO of BlackCurve. So for the next 30 minutes, will be a fireside chat, essentially covering how to use competitor pricing to be the best big commerce store. And during today's fireside chat, essentially we'll be covering these main three topics. What makes a big commerce retailer successful, how leading big commerce stores are using competitor pricing, and then also we'll open up to everyone who's joining us on today's fireside chat for questions, a Q&A session at the end. So cool. So now that we've all wrapped in, settled in, we've got our waters and we're hydrated. To kick things off, we'd like to kick off with you, Deepak. So would you mind introducing yourself and your role at BigCommerce?
Yes. So my name is Deepak Anand. So I run commercial partnership for BigCommerce across Europe, and very exciting time in the e-commerce. And what my role is, I was the first employee of BigCommerce Europe once we kind of raised a few millions just to expand into the European market. And now we are one of the leading platforms. We have customers like Travis Perkins, Harvey Nicks, Molton Brown, couple of significant players. And when we built a partnership with BlackCurve, that's very, very important for us, because we can see that, especially during this time of pandemic, and hope everyone is keeping safe and healthy, during this time, that we can see that the retailers who are going to be making a big wave would need to compete with likes of other, bigger marketplace player. And I think the technology and the services you provide will help them accelerate in the near future. So I think we are excited about our partnership with you guys, and hopefully we'll be able to build the book of business together.
Absolutely. Definitely exciting times ahead for all parties involved. Switching over to you, Philip. Don't leave you to not asking questions. So would you mind doing the same and introducing yourself as well?
Hello, so I'm Philip Huthwaite, the CEO and founder of BlackCurve. As Manny said, I think I probably should have got a cup of tea, shouldn't I? I feel left out. I don't know if that's a cup of tea or water there, Deepak, but anyway, I've got water nonetheless. So so I very much have been in the pricing technology space for going on almost a decade now. I founded BlackCurve in 2016. My glamorous sidekick here, Manny, you were one of our first hires as well. So you've been heroes with the journey, and really, I think, I don't know, my job title was always a bit of a strange one. Definitely in the early days of starting startup life, it included cleaning the office. Now thankfully, it's not so much that, it's more sort of sales and marketing and investor support, and doing wonderful exercises such as the webinar today, the fireside chat today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that for both of you. I guess just to circle back to you, Philip. So why did you start BlackCurve all those years ago?
Probably because I'm a bit of a screw loose, maybe. I think certainly some of my friends might think that, but I mean, I started off as a management consultant for my sins. You might see a ton of people suddenly drop off this fireside chat after mentioning that. So it was Accenture, for those of interested. Absolutely loved it. Worked there, large company. I think when I left, there was about 300,000 people globally. But I really had a scratch to itch in terms of building a company myself. I wanted to really experience that. I didn't have an idea at the time, so I actually joined a smaller company that offered bespoke software development. And we actually won a contract which was selling price list management systems for Continental Tires. So I'm quite pleased that we were a small company. We beat the likes of sort of Oracle and IBM of the days, and so that was a big tick in the box. Maybe from a pricing sense, we were a bit too cheap. So pricing clearly has always stayed in there. But nonetheless, we won that project, and that was a light bulb moment for us. I mean, Continental Tires at the time was a $40 billion company big business, and we thought, hang on a minute, if a big business such as this is having problems with pricing technology, what other companies are out there? Our research led us rapidly into the retail and e-commerce space around businesses needing support making dynamic pricing decisions. So, traditionally in manufacturing and distribution, it's more of a set a contract and the price stays for a longer period of time. E-commerce, as we all know, is dynamic, fast-paced, rapid decision-making. And that really excited me, building a product that could support that. So in 2016, we launched the business, and one of the fundamental principles that I really wanted to instill in those that used BlackCurve was you do not need to blindly follow your competitor prices. I was very frustrated that lots of technologies out there just simply were almost like a repricer. And, and I'll go on to later and talking about absolutely there's a time and a place to follow the market, because there's certain products that you have to be on the money to win. And that's very much part of the technology, but also the secret sauce is working out where you don't need to follow those competitor prices. And if you fast forward to today, we're now pricing more than 10 million products. We've achieved on average more than a 10% increase in revenue for our customers and a 9% increase in profitability. So there's a real tangible benefit for the work that we do.
That sounds like good progress from all those years. Absolutely. So just tying it into BigCommerce. So how did BlackCurve and BigCommerce were connected?
So I think I think from a Deepak point of view, we very much hooked up on LinkedIn. I mean, BigCommerce has always been on our radar. They've done successfully well. It's obviously all down to you, Deepak, in Europe anyway.
All this hard work.
And I think there's from my point of view, there's very much strong synergies in not only our customer base and who we work with, but also our philosophy of how we like to go about supporting the online retailers that require technology. So very much we wanted to offer kind of out of the box, get going very quickly, but with the flexibility to customize if you need and support that. It's almost like a best of breed approach. I mean, I don't know, Deepak, if that resonates with you as well.
Absolutely. I mean, so thank you very much for saying that. I know when you first reach out, I'm going to tell you a little bbit of story about this thing. I remember that when you first reach out, I just say, oh, do I really need a pricing engine? Because our customers are not asking for it. And when you talked about one of our existing brands who are kind of has seen a 200% increase in their transactions, in the conversion rate and also the transactions. And I just say, if they are using it, how can we take this to other verticals? So I think I should not, on this call, I should apologize for the delay and the dragging on all the conversation. But I think what our team is excited about, it's more around that it's just the first step. And all these, when we see all these smaller retailers, for example, we are also in pitch with some of the electronic retailers now who do not have the presence, online presence. And I think that would be the right fit. And we want to just bring this ecosystem together to win this market. It's not for the success of BigCommerce, it's the success of our community and for our retailers. And this is, I firmly believe, it's not about us, it's about you guys helping us to win this market share. And I think, as I said, we are excited about this thing. And I think the opportunity is significant. We have just started in the UK market. Philip, as we've discussed this before, we are entering into other European countries. And some of the countries, how we would be able to compete with the B2B side of thing, the B2C side of thing. And I think your product fits really well with the services you add on top of it. So we are really excited about this thing. And I think what we need to do more of now is that keep on educating these retailers that to compete with the bigger marketplace players, likes of Amazon and eBay's and a couple of other ones who are coming onto the marketplace, like say OnBuys and Frugos and all, they need to have a strategy, especially the pricing strategy. They have the merchandising strategy. They have the personalization strategy. They have the payment strategy as well, to whether they want to split it into 4 or 2. But what they don't have is pricing. Is that, are they charging the right price? Are they, because when we do the analysis of the data we have, we just say that why the dropout happens. And we make all the assumptions on personalization, recommendation, product. We haven't actually never thought about, oh, the pricing could have been an issue. They might have found 10 different websites. So I think I'm super excited to say, how can we roll it out to all the merchants, not just 1 or 2 we have right now, especially in the verticals where you're successful in.
Absolutely, absolutely. Those are very good points. And now actually, just throwing this to you, Deepak. So, what is your favorite thing about the BigCommerce platform that excites you the most?
Where shall I start? I mean, do you have a couple of days for this thing? So, I mean, the exciting thing is that because I mean, it's in public now. We went public yesterday, right? So the excitement is there. Rejuvenation of what I felt. I started this company a couple of years ago in the UK. Now it's again coming back. So the reason why we are successful is that I always say that there are three pillars to the success, right? From the partnership side of things, we want to go to market with partners, we want to innovate with partners, and we want to scale with partners. So that's our very simple partnership strategy. This is why we want to work with you. We do not have a pricing kind of for what you have right now in our platform, and we want to partner. From the customer side of things, if I think about where we are right now, so we fit really well. First of all, we provide them the flexibility of openness and also the comfort of SaaS. So we are the first open SaaS e-commerce platform, which means that they get all the benefit of flexibility. They want to change anything. They want to customize the front end. They want to add other ERP solutions. They can, all the APIs are open. The second thing is that they have the closeness of SaaS. They don't have to worry about upgrades, hosting, uptime, downtime, whatever it is, they don't have to worry about. The second thing is the features and functionality. So I believe in the mission of BigCommerce is to serve customers, merchants of all stages, which means we serve customers of SB with the same tech stack. They can go into from a $10,000 a year merchant can go up to a $500 million a year with the same tech stack, right? So that's another element. They don't have to go through that upgrade path from Magento 1 to Magento 2 or X or Y. And the third thing is that the lower total cost of ownership, which means is that when you look at the combined element of digital transformation, you have to combine all the elements to say, do you want a full stack solution, or do you want BigCommerce plus BlackCurve plus a personalization engine and combine it together? That most of the time, and I can say 99.99% time, we are minimum 50% cheaper than the biggest e-commerce platform. And on top of that, when we compare likes to like with even our biggest competitor we have with Shopify, we are, if they have to do a functionality parity, all the Shopify merchants have to spend significant amount on apps just to be where we are at the moment. So I think, so time to market is important, total cost of ownership is important, and also the open SaaS is important because we provide them the merchant that they can go to bed and don't think about that whether their website is up and running all night or not. So this is what makes us successful.
Interesting. That flexibility helps stores get started a lot quicker, and they could obviously grow along with you guys as well.
Absolutely.
So that's fantastic. And speaking of stores, beautiful segue. So what type of BigCommerce stores are you seeing that are growing quite rapidly of your time since you've been at BigCommerce? Without naming names, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends, right? I mean, when you see in the last 3 months, I wouldn't be able to share some of the data points, but what I'll say is that because people are sitting at home, they have time. So obvious fits are like the home and garden. We've seen a significant. Suddenly, I've seen that some of the brands in health and fitness, people are more aware of health and fitness. I mean, they're more buying products of health and fitness in terms of the gyms kind of thing. They want to build their gym at home. And then the other thing which we have looked at is that obviously the fashion is kind of it's ups and down, has their own peaks. But when you compare this, because now when I look at what would be the world post-COVID, there are thousands and millions of customers are coming online who has never transacted online. So what would be relevant for them, especially, is that do we provide the level of security, especially for the merchants, that they can come and they feel secure entering the card details. So we provide that PCI compliance as well. But at the same time, when you think about this, especially working with partners like yourself, online will become the lifeline for so many merchants now, right? We just need to think about this thing, that change will going to happen. The shift to online is, which we were thinking about, it's going to take 5 years. There was a McKinsey report. It talks about in January 2020, something around, my dates might be wrong, it was 10% of online, online retail was 10% of overall. By Q2 of this year, it was 35%.
Wow.
So what we have seen in the last 3 to 6 months is that what we could have achieved in 5 years' time, it just accelerated for every single company, right? For yourself and for us, right? So I think you'll see more and more, and the brands we are seeing successful is, again, home and garden is one, and a couple of other verticals is the health, fitness, and all these verticals are important. I think people have, what we have realized that even I started building a new hobby of building I don't have a green thumb, so I need to sort out my garden. So I think I ordered a lot of garden equipment, which is still sitting in my garden. I haven't even used it yet. So like one day I've made my commitment to my wife, I'll do it, I'll use it. The money I spent on BigCommerce stores only, right?
Absolutely. And just tagging on to that question I asked, are you spotting any traits within the stores that are successful? Are there sorts of patterns and behaviors you're seeing in terms of the store owners? Are they adopting new technologies? Is it that sort of thing that is making them successful?
I think, if I'll just, I want to actually ask Philip this question as well with the number of clients you have. What we have seen is that the personalization is becoming more important, all right? Because people don't have time. They just want to make sure that they come into the site, they get what they want, right? And they just completely check out if the price is right, if they feel, because I know that when I place an order from X website, I know their price would be best. I mean, I don't have to go into that one, right? So like if I go into if I'm buying appliances, I can go into one site, I know I don't have to spend 30, and the loyalty is important as well. So brand loyalty can only comes in when you match that the price is right, the quality is right, and also they understand me. So personalization, I think the market is moving from a transactional business to an aspirational business, which is more around that how you aspire or how you build the loyalty. And that's, Philip, what's your view on this? Like when you talk about the loyalty with the retailers, what are the key things retailers tells you to have? I mean, I always think about that. Do you provide the right quality, right service, and right price? But you might be thinking something different, right?
I think we come at it from a slightly different angle in terms of personalization, but certainly we're about helping the retailers identify which segments of product groups do they have more buying power in, I suppose, for want of a better word, and because the respective retailers have invested in that personal relationship with certain customers. I mean, I can speak from experience that, for example, I only shop at one particular sportswear retailer because they know to send me a little Haribo thing in the box, right? And so they've invested in that brand loyalty, and all the messaging that I get from them is hey, there's this new triathlon bike, and they've invested in that. And so all the data then feeds back into, right, we've got brand loyalty in this particular segment of products. Therefore, how can we use price to support that value exchange between the two? So definitely it's becoming more of a personalized view of the world, but I think from our perspective it's more market segmentation and product segmentation. That's how we see it from our side.
Brilliant.
Just another question to you, Deepak. In terms of apps that the stores are using, are there any particular apps that the stores like to tend to use?
It's a very difficult. This is a very difficult question. The reason is that because it depends on the merchant size. Because when you talk about the Harvey Nicks of the world, Travis Perkins, they have 10 or 15 apps, right? Talk about personalization. But when you talk about the SP merchants, they might have a 1 or 2. So it depends on the scale and what they want to achieve. And also what we have seen is that in different verticals, they have different apps. Like personalization recommendation works in the fashion and apparel, might not work in appliances, right? Because if I'm going ahead and buying a Hoover, I know it's a Dyson, or I just don't want to buy X, Y, Z, right? I'm not going to go into that, oh, do they know my size? So this is why I've seen different pricing for different app for different verticals. So there's no I can't say that there is a very common or few apps which has been installed by most of the retailers, but I've seen, especially in the vertical which I'm talking about, the appliances or home and garden and all. So you don't need a personalized experience there, right? So you just need to make sure you know what you want. You go there, you get the right price, you buy it. But in fashion, it's different, right? different colors, what you bought last time. It's a summertime, wintertime, spring, fall. So every time is different, and you understand the taste of the person once they shop with you. So it's a very difficult question, but what we have keep on seeing more and more of is that people start understanding about this thing, that how they would be able to connect with their consumer. Is it more about the email service provider is the most important one, like they want to communicate. The communication apps are becoming more relevant because tracking where my goods are, all these things are important. But I wouldn't say that there is one app which is like standing out for all the 60,000 merchants we have.
So it's always a combination of what they need to make work for their own store. Interesting. Shifting gears to Philip. So when it comes to BigCommerce stores, what sort of pricing technology should they be using to support their growth?
Yeah, so we work with a number of BigCommerce stores. We've got the likes of, Deepak's already touched upon some of them, sort of like consumer electronics, homeware and goods. And educational has actually been a big one for us, especially during the lockdown phases. As I don't know, my kids are not quite at primary school age, but certainly some of my friends are, and it's certainly been a case of throwing money at the problem to make sure that you've got enough textbooks to support them. So we've got the likes of, for example, Appliance House, who's a major consumer electronics company. So you think your TVs, your washing machines, and also we have companies also in America as well that are also BigCommerce stores, and really we're supporting them to make primary driver, almost dipping your toes in, is supporting them to make competitor-led pricing decisions. But then actually one of the reasons that they like working with us is because we help them to detach those decisions from their competitors. So it's helping them to then subsequently move on to make decisions based on demand. So looking at historical patterns in sales and identifying, do I have an opportunity to flex price? And in the lockdown, it has been completely different. The pricing strategies that we've supported businesses with have been completely different, especially at the beginning of the lockdown, when, if you think about it, supply chains were starting to get tight. So a lot of the decisions that we were supporting them with was around making sure that they don't sell out too cheaply. So managing that sell-through cycle if they know that they're not going to get restocked. And that actually was a primary driver of certainly BlackCurve's success over the lockdown period of managing that supply demand sort of ratio.
And if I was to be a BigCommerce store owner right now and put my BigCommerce CEO store owner hat on, so how does pricing technology actually help on my businesses? Like, could you explain that? Could you go a little bit deeper into that, Philip?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it comes down to fundamentally, why would you like to make a pricing decision? So I think it's common, the 80-20 rule, good old Pareto, is very true, that a lot of retailers and e-commerce companies that we see, they're typically 80% of their revenue and profitability, it might be coming from a small subset of their products, so 20%. And if your pricing's done on maybe Excel especially, or even if it's automated, a lot of the time our natural bias is to focus on that core part of the inventory. So what pricing technology enables you to do is almost make pricing decisions across 100% of your inventory at scale. So if you've got 100 products, yeah, it might be a bit of an overkill to use pricing technology. But if you're starting at 500, 1,000 plus products, this is where automation is key. I only got one product to remember, and well, actually I've got 4 products to remember. It's one product and available across four editions, right? And you've got to stay on top of that, right? If you're talking about 500, 1,000 products, how can you make a price day in, day out that considers your competitors, considers supply, considers demand, considers the weather? It becomes a bit of a headache. You can probably insert a ruder word in there, but it becomes quite difficult, right? And so therefore, the first part of it's repricing against your competitors, and the smarter the technology becomes, you start to think about those that I've mentioned, such as sales history and demand. So if we go back to principles, what we're trying to support with is, right, looking at the data, we feel statistical certainty that if you increase the price of this product, the volume will stay the same. So you will bag the delta between the old price and the new price. Alternatively, do we feel that you can decrease the price of this product, take the margin hit on that individual product sale, and it opens up the taps in terms of volume sold exponentially? And again, that's a win. And then you're looking at all the additional questions that we support with. So for example, in your long tail, is this product a long tail product because it's priced incorrectly? Okay. And one of the things that I'm strongly passionate about is that pricing sits at the core of so many parts of your business. Okay. One of the examples that I'll touch upon is PPC spend, right? If you're spending money on PPC, you want to make sure that your pricing reflects that to support the conversion. If you're doing them in isolation, there will categorically be money that you're spending on your marketing that's wasted, or alternatively, you could spend less and still convert at the same level. So that's why it touches upon so many areas. But I hope that kind of, there's a lot of ground that's covered there, but I hope that sort of covers why pricing technology is important for businesses.
I guess it just sharpens the store owners or e-commerce company owners like mind in terms of the different possibilities and ways they could take their company. So definitely sounds exciting. So still wearing my BigCommerce store owner hat right now. If I was to start with pricing technology, where do I start? Like how do I kick off that whole journey?
Well, first of all, you can get a lot of the way there with competitor data, right? So go out there, get visibility of the market. And the main thing I generally say is, it's kind of spoiler alert, you win no prizes by undercutting the cheapest person in the market. Okay, so time and time again, we have conversations and when we look at the data, and sometimes it's not even the prices when we do the market comparison is marginally smaller, because you're talking 1,000, some cases 10,000, 100,000 products. There are always certain market product segments that have remained untouched, and you win no prizes by being cheaper. So get those up. Okay, get those up. At the very least, make sure you're matched with the lowest person in the market. And we've done tons of tests about this. Okay, so you win no prizes by undercutting it, right? And that's really where I'd start. We're BlackCurve here, so you can get that from us. And there are other options out there, and it's you can dip your toes in very quickly. If you go to the BigCommerce app store, search BlackCurve and click get this app, within a few minutes, you've got access to all of market data in your inventory. So it's very, very quick to get started. And that's the starting point. Understand your market position, and then you can start to make decisions off the back of that.
Absolutely. That sounds exciting. And so just to touch onto the BlackCurve bit. So how do you think and approach pricing, and how does that separate the BlackCurve viewpoint against everyone else in the marketplace?
Yeah, so a stat that you might have remembered I said at the beginning, one of my passions is supporting retailers to not blindly follow their competitors, right? So if I was to say to you that, did you know that 52% of pricing decisions are competitor driven? Okay, sometimes I say that to e-commerce companies and there's a reflection moment of, holy cow, hang on a minute, I've been matching my competitors every single price move. I've got an automated decision. So that means that almost 50% of the time, you didn't need to maintain parity with those competitors. Okay, so that's a real starting point there. Okay. So for us, okay, I'm not suggesting that you suddenly go, right, I need to install an all singing, all dancing pricing project. I need to work out what my price elasticity is. I need to work out, stock levels, all of that good stuff. If you just have competitor data, you can actually get a long way with it. And we think slightly differently to some of our own competitors. And one of the ways that you can identify which products that you need to have parity with, that 52%, is by working out the frequency with which your competitors change the price of products. And the products that change frequently more often than others typically is a very, very strong indicator that those products are market driven, and is an indicator that you need to have a market price that is within the ballpark of your chosen competitors. Okay, and even over a week period, even over a 2-week period, you can very quickly get to that. Okay, and once you've done that, you will get a lot of the way there. And then it depends on how much your appetite is to go from competing to being a market leader and growthy company. And the companies that we see that do exceptionally well is then take that even further and start to install, right, look at my historical sales history, use that to support my decision making. And again, we can support you with that. So it's you can start small, you can dip your toes in the water, you can use just competitor data more effectively. And once you bag those wins, it's then a case of moving on to all the other exciting parts of pricing decisions.
Cool. Definitely sounds exciting if you were to get started and get going using pricing technologies. Cool. So thank you both to Philip and Deepak. So we've wrapped up the fireside portion of today's conversation, and now we're going to open up to everyone else who is situated where they are to ask any questions that they have about BigCommerce, competitor pricing, and all in between. Cool. Let me got some questions coming through. So kick off with this one. So got a question coming through, and this one's for Deepak actually. So what does the future look like with BigCommerce customers now that the IPO has happened and it's been a obviously successful milestone in your journey? So what's next for BigCommerce customers post IPO?
It's an exciting time, as you can see. We are super excited about this thing. Though I mean, at this moment in time, what's the key for us is to expand with our partners. As I said, I always, over the last 10 years, I've been a part of the e-commerce successes. And I think I've never been super excited than this time now, because digital first is here. E-commerce is the lifeblood. And what we are planning to do is that invest more in product development. That's the key strategy. International expansion is another one. And we just wanted to hear the customer what they would like to what they would like to see, and go deeper with our partners, likes of yourself, how we would be able to do more and solve the issue of pricing, just for example. Plus, we are also working with personalization companies and plus search. So how we can combine this and provide the best of breed technologies to our to our community. So that's actually the future. It just happened yesterday, so we are excited about this thing. I think this week would be all about the successes and the hard work we have done, the founders have done over the last 10 years. So I think it's exciting times, and I think I'm super glad that you are a part of this journey with us.
Thank you. Cool. I got another question coming in. This one for Philip. Here, this one's gonna be interesting. So I've heard price elasticity is the answer to my pricing prayers. Do you agree?
I think this is one of those ones that you've opened up a can of worms in terms of price elasticity, and I will give a very short answer because I realise we're coming at the top of the webinar time. I absolutely feel that pricing elasticity, when calculated and worked out, it can be very powerful. So just to refresh, basically what you're trying to do with this calculation is work out, if I change my price by a certain amount of percentage, okay, what is the resultant change in demand for that product? Okay, so you're trying to work out, if I increase the price of this product, for example, will the volume stay the same? That's a simple way of looking at it, right? Now, a lot of the time, even massive retailers that we're working with, they say, I've got tons and tons of data. Okay, I've got thousands and thousands of products. I've got historical data going back 5 years. But in order to work out price elasticity, you need to have changed your price. Okay, so sales transactions are absolutely great, but you need to have changed your price lots and lots of times. So really, if you haven't historically changed price often enough, don't worry about price elasticity for now. Okay, you can get a lot of the way with other parts of other pricing strategies that I've kind of teased out in this. Okay, if you have changed your price enough, this is where you can really start to motor and work out. And also it helps with other areas, right? So it helps with buying, forecasting, stock level decisions, where I should put my marketing spend, if you know what the price elasticity is of certain products. So it can be powerful, but if you haven't changed price historically enough, you need to start an exercise which is called price testing, a robust method of price testing, in order to get that data. Okay, so I've probably covered a lot there. It's a topic in itself, but I hope that answers.
Cool. got another question coming in for Deepak. So I'm looking to start a e-commerce store and looking at other options. Why should I pick BigCommerce?
Why wouldn't you pick BigCommerce? I think I think the reason why you need to start thinking about BigCommerce is more around that. If you are thinking about the functionalities, and if you are thinking about how you can set up a store within an hours, you can just go into BigCommerce.com. Or otherwise, you can just give the details to you. You can reach out to us, and then we'll be able to see what we can do for your retailer. But what we can do is that you can always look at the features and functionalities, and you can just go into the BigCommerce. You can upload the product, and within a few hours, you can have PayPal enabled. You can have Braintree. You would start transacting in less than 3 hours with all the functionalities which you need. Even if you want to have BlackCurve, you would be going into the marketplace with one click, you would be able to install that, which you wouldn't be able to do in any other e-commerce platform. So you will have the pricing, you will have the best of breed technologies enabled with BigCommerce. Plus, at the same time, you get all the functionalities, and you can sleep at night. That's one of the best things which you need to do. So I think that's one of the many reasons. Because once we understand the requirements, we would be able to talk about whether it's B2B, B2C, what are the key functionalities, because we can have hundreds of functionalities within our platform. But if you need to get into international, if you wanted to have price elasticity, if you want to make sure that it's personalized, have enabled with email service provider, with a click of a button, it's possible on BigCommerce. And it starts at $29.99, right? So it's just when you start an online business, but the enterprise plans are different, the mid-tier plans are different. But if you're starting first time, definitely I would say that they'll reach out to you, send the details, and we'll see what the best we can do so that we can share the experience.
So you'd be silly not to, basically. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And then one last question for Philip. Someone's asking, what kind of results can I expect from pricing technology?
So the nice thing about pricing technology is it's very tangible. So you make a pricing change and it goes straight to your bottom line. So we've done a range of case studies. Most recent set of research that we've done is a 12% increase in revenue and a 9% increase in profitability. Right. So it can be sizable for your business.
Interesting. Those are chunky results, and I definitely want to be taking part in that. So thank you. If you do need to access BlackCurve, you can find it on a BigCommerce store. Just search BlackCurve, all one word, and you pop up there and just click on Get App, and you'll be ready to go. So Deepak, would you like to share anything, any goodbye messages to everyone who's attended today?
I just wanted to say thank you very much to you both, because we are excited about this partnership, and I think we keep on doing this more and more, because I think one of the key things which we need to do is to educate the market. E-commerce is not about just setting up a store. There is so many other things involved in making the e-commerce store successful. And I think with this partnership, I'm very, 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 very confident that we would be able to change the landscape of what people think that the pricing is not important for them. I think there is a lot of things which we can do together, and I think we keep on educating them how they can be successful. Thank you very much.
Absolute pleasure having you. And I think let's Philip. You want to sign off as well, Philip?
No, I'd echo that. So thank you very much, Deepak, for joining us today on today's webinar, and thank you very much for listening. We hope you found it insightful, and we hope you sort of saw our different view on the pricing world. We look forward to sharing more in the future.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So that's it. Today we've been looking at how to use competitor pricing to be the best BigCommerce store. We're BlackCurve, and we help e-commerce businesses make pricing decisions. This is our podcast, eCommerce Matters, and it's available on all major podcasting platforms. So subscribe now. See you next time.